The South African Communist Party is holding their Red October rally in Klerksdorp in the Northwest Province. SACP Secretary General Solly Mapaila is still at the podium. Let's take you live there.
They are getting there because capitalism in its abstraction of the economy is also destroying the environment. We'll be running short of proper oxygen. So the countries like DRC that still have huge tracts of bushland, they will be able to sell us oxygen because we are finishing it here by a capitalist method of production. Equally, comrades, we must call for the immediate implementation of the national health insurance so that we can end the crisis of a collapsing public hospitals and unaffordable private health care and forever rising medical aid premiums. Many of you who are on medical aid by now, you know that the medical aids are finished. Just after July to this time, you are done. If you don't have enough savings there, you are finished completely. That's the reality. So we need the immediate implementation of the NHI. Equally, we need expansion of work and community-led cooperatives in food, retail, transport, and energy. That's why this morning we started with our comrades here in Ituseng Co-op and projects, where we saw how they are trying to be self-reliant on food production, to assist our communities here. They are already helping 36 families in their own household to produce food. We can do this as well in our own communities. I pass many households, many houses. I see nice yards. I used to do that myself. I was very good in gardening. I see that people are still enjoying this thing even in the midst of poverty. Share your gardening beauty with some food production on the side. As you water your grass and flowers, also water your garden here, the crops. Spinach, onion, beetroot, carrots, tomatoes, all those kind of things, and others that you can plant. Lastly, comrades, we just want to indicate that we must launch a massive campaign to end privatization of ESCOM and still say yes to a just transition led by workers and our communities. Not allow this thing, even this deadline that is looming of April 2026, because it's going to be even more difficult to afford electricity just for cooking. We must then equally embark on a public and community-owned renewable energy programs. So we need to think outside the box and not only think that we can create things through government or through private capital, but as communities we can become self-reliant and do things on our own. The People's Red Caravan has begun to show that element, that the people can rely on themselves and do things for themselves. We must equally edge on community cooperatives in the field of energy generation. That should be linked equally to the national grid. At the moment, for instance, everyone, the state is having this massive transformation agenda of privatization even of ESCOM. It doesn't involve communities. And they know over the years, this is another lie they are selling to our people. Do it the private way, things will be better. When they know over the last 30 years, the private way has impoverished our people more and more than improving their lives. Only the interventions of government are the ones that have improved the quality of the lives of our people. Whereas the building of hospitals, of houses, electrification in our communities and so forth, all of these things were not done by the private sector, were done by government. The only problem is that the government did this by hiring private people and paying for them to roll out the projects. They must take responsibility and employ people to do these things. You don't need to hire people to do everything for you as government. Why are you existing as government if you are not existing on the basis of skills and capacity of labor that is required to develop your own country? It is therefore important that we also want to call for grassroots safety structures, building of these safety structures in our communities, as well as building women's defense networks. Comrade Mike spoke at length about the conditions of South African women today that are worsening on a daily basis. We equally, in this regard, particularly on safety and security, should call for youth mobilization for work, as well as youth mobilization for study, youth mobilization for service, youth mobilization against crime in our communities. We must equally call for worker community alliances to reclaim our streets and our schools and our public spaces and lead community-led anti-drug campaigns and anti-gangs campaigns. This is urgent in the midst of this crisis in the police. As we close, comrades, some of these issues that we have been raising are expressed by the Freedom Charter, which has called for people's democracy and socialism. Freedom Charter has called for people's democracy. We also call for socialism. We've just marked 70 years of the Freedom Charter. Comrade Mike was talking about the 40 years of COSATU, which we'll be marking now in December. We want all members of the Communist Party to continue to participate in the analysis of the 70 years of the Freedom Charter, to look into where we are, where are the missteps, what can be corrected. Equally, to participate effectively in rebuilding the trade union movement, especially COSATU, in participating in its renewal, in its celebration of 40 years, and in rebuilding COSATU locals. This we will all celebrate together in December this year. At the same time, comrade, we are saying to our workers, who we believe must remain rooted in the truth and in knowing they are exploiters at the workplace. Workers are exploited by capital, but capital can be smart. It can buy politicians, can continue to exploit workers through the face of politicians. So politicians can occupy office only to serve the interests of capital, not of the workers. It is well known even in literature. In the US, that's what we call capture or state capture. In the US, it has reached a point where they say you reach the level of deep capture. South Africa has got a crisis of deep capture by capital. When you have reached deep capture, the capitalists don't have to tell you what to do. You just do it because you know what they want. That's why they produced this document. You know, we were shocked that sometimes in March this year, we had a bilateral meeting with the African National Congress. And because in December, in our bilateral discussion, the ANC was saying, no, you comrades are saying that we are implementing neoliberalism. We don't know what we are talking about. You talk about austerity, we don't know this thing. So in our bilateral in March, we prepared to show them why we say they are implementing neoliberalism. As we present our thing, they agree. Even in their response, they agree. Then I lived there and said, no man, there's a problem. Why would this comrade agree with us all of a sudden? Is it a change of heart, or now they know the truth? And you know, they are finalizing this document from Harvard, because that document starts by criticizing the state of the state. And in the criticism of the state, it talks about all these problems that we're experiencing, but prescribes wrong diagnosis or diagnose wrong prescriptions. But they identify the problems that we are going through. Now, in the context of this, when they were agreeing, I said, no man, there's something wrong. And I should be worried if, for instance, I get not to trust when the ANC is agreeing with us. because we want them more to agree with us. But they were agreeing with this document that I just shared with you. Now, going forward, we said we are going to participate in the coming local government elections as the SACP. This position, comrades, we have told our African National Congress, our ally, even our comrades in COSATU. Because initially they said, this is Solly's problem. And the leadership of the Communist Party issued a statement from the Central Committee that this is not Solly's problem. It's our decision. They still don't care. They continue to walk about telling the lies that they tell outside. But we have said, we cannot reverse this position now, the Communist Party. Only the next Congress of the Communist Party can reverse this decision, which is in 2027. They tried their best. That's why some of them wanted to use our Special National Congress in December for mischievous tendencies and intentions. They failed to do that. And our Special National Congress reaffirmed the National Congress decision, because even that Special National Congress had no power over the National Congress. So no one amongst these leaders can reverse this decision. It's a decision taken by the structures of the Communist Party. This decision is being implemented and will be implemented in full. So we have said to our comrades, because you are not used to contesting elections independent of the ANC. We have said all by-elections must be contested. And the leadership in provinces and in districts, in branches, who cannot contest, they must give us very valid reasons why they can't do so on these by-elections. We have the full permission to contest all the coming by-elections. And all municipalities that come for re-election, we must contest them. The issue is to have presence in local municipalities and to raise the issues of the working class and anchor development of the people proper from a working class perspective. At the moment, we have people that we have borrowed responsibility. They've deviated from those responsibilities, even the agreement and the task of the movement, even though they are occupying positions of the movement. At the same time, we have said, we in the Communist Party are not breaking the alliance. The alliance is made of a program. When that program is being sold out, when that program is being undermined, the alliance will dissipate. That's why we are committed to rebuild a proper class alliance on the basis of the interest of the classes that are in the struggle, in the revolution. On this basis, we have realized that we made a strategic error, but this error was made on the basis of trust. When we made this error, that Comrade Mapaila explained a little bit earlier, when he was talking about the position we took before 1994, when President Mandela was coming as president, we had no reason to doubt him. With our leaders, Joe Slovo and them, who were part and parcel of that arrangement, we had no reason to doubt them. But the situation has completely changed. We gave too much trust, so much that today we don't even have leverage for the ANC to change its positions. Some unknown parties recently established, they can control and direct the ANC. Dayton McKenzie the other day, we were abroad with Comrade Mapaila, we read in the newspapers, he has given the ANC 7 days notice to return Kenny Kunene, his deputy, to his position in Johannesburg. And we're like, even Mackenzie has got such leverage in the political affairs of our country. Yes, because he has got votes in municipalities. Tina, our leverage is the trust we have on the ANC. And when the ANC betrays this trust, we are left with nothing. Because everything is in the hands of the African National Congress. That's why the ANC even had the guts to convene a meeting of councillors without calling the alliance. I asked the president directly, but president, what is this thing? We were at COSATU Central Committee. COSATU is having its own NGC. The ANC convenes a meeting of councillors. Yes, that's the level of disrespect. But we asked him nicely, Comrade President, but what is this? He says, yeah, no. As if he doesn't know. And at that time, we didn't even know what they said there. Very wrong things. Now, we have to correct these things and bring back the leverage of the Communist Party in its relation with any other organization in the alliance. So it is in this regard, comrade, that we must build people's democracy and socialism and fight for land, water, electricity, work, healthcare, housing, and safety as rights for our people, and mobilize organs of people's power in our communities and workplaces and in villages, and stand continuously in solidarity with other international organizations and the working class across the world who are suffering as we do. In this regard, our Red October campaign, it's not ended, a PS of the Young Communist League. This was just to reflect on what this was about. This year, we had the privilege of launching our People's Red Caravan in the Eastern Cape province, in OR Tambo district in Tegezweni village, right in the middle of the Red October, to take forward the struggles of the people. This People's Red Caravan requires help from all of you, including to those of our comrades who are in the struggle, who have amassed some resources. Today, for instance, like I've reported to you, the attack at a great place in Mtegezwe. 2 days earlier, there was an attack at the Jogintaba Senior Secondary School in Mtegezwe. When we were there, the principal and his team of the primary school came to see us, asking for help with security, because criminals went to steal the October groceries of children in their feeding school scheme of the school. It's the worst form of an attack on a community. So we want help in this regard, because we are doing this thing on our own, on the basis of self-reliance. We have no sponsors in this regard. Anyone who can make contributions in this regard will go a long way to protect that particular community, and even to protect the communities that we have been, where we started community self-help programs, not small-scale self-help programs. I mean, in Mtegezweni already we have also planted 17,000 crops. We were to finish the second farm, Comrade Matoda. We didn't finish the second farm because it was too dry. But as we were leaving, the rains were coming. But we also put a borehole, and it has produced enough water, so we'll finish that particular community as well, community farm. So it is this people's community development that must be anchored in every community. You don't have to wait for the province to come to your district to start the People's Red Caravan in your own district or in your own community. Even in the townships, the People's Red Caravan is not only for villages, it's also for the townships. Here in Jubatel, we can have People's Red Caravan. That is clear. Here, we can also have People's Red Caravan. I've already been briefed about the situation of the squatter camp, which is now informal settlement. It's a squatter camp, but we call it informal settlement because there's been delineated of yards and everything else. We know about the crime that is there, the problems that is there. Launch a People's Red Caravan to reclaim that particular community so it can live in peace and anchor its own development. That's the party to contribute in leading that. With this, comrade, we want to thank you very much for taking time to come and listen to our message on the people on the Red October for 2025. But the mission of the Red October and of building socialism and against capitalism continues in our country. Amandla! Forward to socialism, forward! Down with capitalism, down!
That is Solly Mapaila, the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party, concluding the Red October rally of the party in Klerksdorp in the Northwest.